idea to make Band of Sisters?
Band of Sisters. Band of Sisters is a march in. Band of Sisters was a march in 2004 in Washington, D.C. It was a pro-choice march. And my neighbor downstairs when I was living in Savannah, Georgia, just said, "Hey, I'm going on this march. Would you like to come?" I've never been on a march before. I know that it happened in the 60s, I know it happened in the 70s, but I felt like the protest happened in this day and age. So I said, sure, I want to go. I grabbed a Bolex film camera, and I kind of started from there. And I shot with a Bolex with an old film, 16mm film camera, because I wanted to show kind of this reminiscence of the 60s protest era. And the whole idea being that you're watching this film, you're seeing the graininess, the film aesthetic, and then you realize at some point, whether it's through the aesthetics of the clothes that people are wearing or the visuals, that this is not 1960, this is 2004, this is present day, modern day society, and there's a million people marching in Washington, D.C. One of the most underpublicized marches. It is the most probably the most underpublicized march in the U.S. today, also the largest march in the U.S. today. So that was kind of the idea of wanting to show that this exists, capture the essence and energy of this day.
And how long did it take to edit Band of Sisters?
Band of Sisters was a very was an interesting process in the post-production because it's such a musical piece. It's such a piece that really interweaves with the score. So it's a very large collaboration with the composer, Gil composed this piece. Because I wanted it to be just as much as the editing group as the score and the music would carry along as well. So what I did is I did a cut, and then I gave it to Gil. And Gil he spotted it out, which is energy, with musical energy of where he thought things would go and communicating certain messages. And then he went back to me, and again, we did this about 3 or 4 times throughout a year, I guess it's like. So I guess since production it took about 2 years to finish, just so we could really have an exchange of the music and the visual elements of the film.
And for Lockdown Boston Tuesday, what was the casting process like?
It was interesting. It was interesting, especially over Tuesday. There's the girl who's in the waiting room, a 15-year-old girl who's getting an abortion, and the casting process is interesting because we used her sister is the girl across from her, who actually her older sister who goes in and gets an abortion, and her father, her real father, is the one who actually picks her up. So I thought what was really interesting about that process, and I'll take a look on us as well, is because some of the real dynamics, their actual relationships, went through into the film. For example, I thought, there's a story about a girl getting an abortion, the real father's picking her up, so that was kind of interesting. But her real father had some of this relationship with her in reality. And I think you saw, I didn't have this directed anyway, he walked in, and Louis didn't know how to handle it. Just because he doesn't know how to handle it. I think it was just that sort of dynamic. And his sister was actually kind of a rebel in their actual relationship. So her getting an abortion and receiving, she was a little more grunge or gothic feeling.
So did you cast the main girl first and then you just used her family?
Exactly, yeah. I cast the main girl first. She had this sense of innocence to her, this sense of not painted yet or just hasn't really gone through experience yet. So I thought that was, that's what I saw in her. I really liked to use her in the film to project that. And then Love No Loss was interesting because, especially with the mother, because she was actually, we were in Alzheimer's, a nursing home, and she actually had Alzheimer's. So,
how was that?
It was like pulling teeth trying to get her to say her lines because she would forget them like that. When we went to go past her and audition her, she was very good and she remembered the lines, but it was just enough to make it work, but kind of give this real essence of someone who could lose their mind. But when we were actually shooting, I guess the excitement
She really was.
and the excitement, exactly. She got excited and Alzheimer's kicked in even more, and she couldn't remember her lines. So it was very, I would say it was somewhat manipulative the way we had to film her, because we just had to kind of somehow get her to say certain lines. When she falls asleep, we actually just sat in the room and she fell asleep. I said, just film. Film is going through, if you're watching it, it's film, it's expensive, and she falls asleep. So, but I thought it worked for her. I thought that she had this essence of really made people get as an actor, or only a very good actor.
How long did it take to make both films, and where did you film them?
Those two films were shot in Savannah, Georgia. They were a thesis project when I was going to the Savannah College of Art and Design. And so they were actually done back to back in the same 2 months. So it was a lot of same people. We all collaborated, so the same people worked in the film. So there was a lot of late nights, and I knocked them out in 6 months with both of them. Probably start to finish.
Was there a message behind each film?
I think that, I can say what inspired me on the film, and I guess you can kind of pick up what you want from it. I think Tuesday was inspired by a girl's story telling me about her experience in going to get an abortion, and really what triggered me on that story was her father, her relationship with her father, and just her experience in this clinic, and that they hadn't spoken about it. When she told me that story, they had not spoken about the incident. So it was really interesting that, and I tried to portray that in the film, that her father picks her up, but they don't say anything. And she's in this alone. And you'd say, okay, maybe obviously there's a huge controversy of whether abortion is correct or incorrect way of handling things. But above that, you could say that it's an experience. Instead of saying what's right or wrong morally, just say it's a terrible experience, and let's, people go through it. Let's just be sympathetic and look at it in that terms instead of what's right and wrong, and just look at it from a more objective point of view. And then Love on Ross, which actually Jessica wrote. It's interesting about relationships and dynamic with the mother, and I guess Iggy's up feeling alone with her mother. She's losing her mother, and her husband's not there for her, and she's looking to connect with something real in her life. And it's just about kind of stepping back a little bit. Sometimes it's all there,
And of the 3 films, which is your favorite?
I mean, that's all. It's a hard question, but I think Band of Sisters would be the most that I feel close to. It's one of those films that more just one-man band film. I encompass most of the elements of it, from shooting, editing, to producing, directing. So it was the most recent one. So I'd say that one I'm closest to on a personal level. It's most of my ideas expressed. I think I got the vision for complete, rather than to maybe a little more learning experience in certain elements. So Band of Sisters has a very close part to me.
What's your next film?
Well, right now I'm working on going back to Sasha, who is dealing with animal rescues in New York City.
Oh, wow.
And kind of meeting beyond that, just about looking at individuals who are very devoted to something like us. Their whole life kind of funnels into this one mission of saving an animal, of doing something. So it's really kind of like a study on that.
So it's like a documentary too?
Yeah, it's a documentary, a cinematic documentary. I think we're exploring different arenas of how to explore these ideas, not necessarily documentary, that's a narrative, but it's a cinematic story of looking at just following around and being a part of something that we don't always see.
I look forward to seeing it. Thank you, Joel. Thank you so much.